Hey, what's up YouTube? Walt's How-Tos and Reviews. Today I'm going to be reviewing a Black & Decker drill. I wanted to make this video because you're probably online looking at drills. You might notice one of these guys for like 40 to 60 bucks. And if you're like me, you're probably thinking three questions like, why is it so cheap? Is it because it's not good and it's, junk? And should I buy this drill? So I feel uniquely qualified to answer that question for two main reasons. One is, I actually bought the drill over 5 years ago and I use it until it no longer works. I have experience with other drills. I do have a business that's in construction, so I feel like, I'm pretty qualified to talk about it. So yeah, I just wanted to share my opinions, give you some of my insights, and hopefully help you answer that question, should you buy this drill? So this is the LDX220 that is 65 bucks. They also have $40 drill. They might even have one in between. Now, this is a higher end, Dewalt. A lot of people put it at the top in terms of, quality. It's definitely up there for price and expensive. And these drills are, similar in the same class, mainly just in terms of features. This one is more powerful. It does have a brushless motor. It is better in terms of that. What I mean by features is, they both have this adjustable speeds up at the top where you can basically like shift it into from low gear to high gear. They both have a flashlight. They both use a 20-volt battery. You can see they're very close in size. They're both made in China. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they're made in the exact same plant in China. I have no idea if that's true. If anything, this guy's got a little place to put drill bits to hold, so you can have like a Phillips in here and a flathead here, and this one doesn't. I was surprised on that. It's kind of a bummer. So that's what I mean in terms of features. They're in a similar class. This one, 170 bucks. This one's $65. So you can buy two of these, almost three of these, for the price of one of these. And that's where you're probably wondering, like, why is there such a difference and should I buy this drill? Now, to answer that question really quickly and easily, light residential use, heavy commercial use, that's why you're paying extra. And I can say with confidence that this drill will outlast this drill. I'm gonna go over a couple more pros and cons with this and then give you some criteria that should help you decide, should you buy this drill. So in terms of pros, this is the best value out there in terms of all the features you get, the power you get, the build quality, the ergonomics, everything with it. I think this is the best value, for what you're getting in the price, really good value. And you want to think about this in the long term, because if you're buying a drill, maybe one day you want to buy a saw or some other kind of tool. And a lot of times when it comes to tools, you're buying into an ecosystem, and mainly what I'm talking about is the battery here. This battery is going to go into a lot of different tools. And if you just buy tools as you need them around the house, like maybe you're going to do a project and now you need a jigsaw, but you're only going to use it for that one project and you don't even know if you'll ever use it again, why buy a really expensive one that's made for use to be used over and over again so they have a higher build quality so it doesn't break, when you could just buy a cheap Black & Decker one and you've already got a battery for it. Now you have two batteries, and it just going into that whole ecosystem, you want to think ahead with that, because if you end up buying, a DeWalt one, this battery is not going to go into this guy. So think about that a little bit. But in terms of Black & Decker's entire lineup, I think it's the best value. There's cheaper drills than this guy out there, but I think, this is a good price point in terms of, it's not the cheapest, it's definitely not on the high end, it's definitely on the cheaper end, but for what you're getting and the build quality, I can say with confidence, really good value. That's going to be the biggest pro. Now, functionality, like I already went over, it can do pretty much everything you're going to do with that guy. It isn't as strong of a motor, and it's really not that less stronger. I don't know the difference in torque of what these guys can handle. I know this one said like 1400 RPM and that one was like 1750. But if you're going to be doing a project that's going to be like using something that's going to need a lot of power, maybe you don't want to look at this drill, but I'm telling you, like 99% of do-it-yourself homeowner stuff, the biggest difference isn't necessarily the power, it's just that longevity and durability. And in terms of durability, you can see like the handle here kind of came loose, but ergonomics, everything stayed intact and it was durable enough to outlast the motor. I think I had 3 batteries originally. I got a combo pack for 180 bucks. I got a reciprocating saw, a little circular saw in this guy, and they even have them now for 120. I'll put all those links in the description. The $120 one doesn't come with this model drill, it's the one below it, and they don't even sell the pack that I bought 5 years ago that included this guy, but $120 and you get 3 tools. Again, back to the value thing. But in terms of being durable, it's nice to know that, hey, by the time the motor goes out, this is still intact and still usable. All right, so now the basic cons, you don't get as much power. It's not gonna last as long. The only other thing that I could think of for a con is just like image. You know, maybe it looks like, hey, you like cheap tools. Maybe if you're trying to project the image that you're a qualified professional or, you know, a construction guy who really knows what he's doing, you might not portray that image. I just know there's some construction guys out there like, oh man, that's not a drill, you need a nice one, you know, that's just a kid's toy or something like that. But I wouldn't worry too much about that. I was really just trying to think of another con. All right, so now let's answer that question. Should you buy this drill? And I really think you should buy this drill if you meet two criteria. First being that you're going to be using it for light residential use, meaning, you know, maybe you do a project once or twice a year, just little things around the house like, oh, I need to tighten this screw, stuff that comes up, you know, maybe it's every month, maybe it's every 3 months, something like that. I think it's a great drill for you. And the other criteria is that you actually like to get a really good value and you don't mind that it's not the highest, best thing. You know, if you're the guy that only the best for me, then probably don't want this drill. But if you're into getting a good value, I would say absolutely go with that drill. Now, should you go with a nicer drill like a Dewalt or something? Now, should you pay up for a nicer drill and maybe go with something like this Dewalt? The best way I can answer that is if you think in these terms. Like, first is like, hey, you know what? I don't know, maybe later on I will like nicer things and I just want to buy one. I don't want to have to rebuy ever again. I want it to last a really long time, possibly my entire life. Yes. If you're going to be using it for work or your livelihood, or your job requires you to use it, you know, more than like once every 3 or 4 months, yes. Or if you're just into having nice stuff, the best, like, you know, I could buy a PC, but I'd rather buy an Apple, even though they're very similar in stats. I just like the premium quality look, and to just know like, hey, I'm not gonna have to worry about this not being able to handle a task that I need, and I really like high-end, high good quality stuff, then yeah, this would be the drill for you. But the whole point of this video is I was really happy with this drill and I'm glad I bought it. You know, I bought a combo pack, 180 bucks, reciprocating saw, circular saw, a little flashlight, and this guy. And the other two saws are fine. I barely ever use them, but if I need them, I got them, and I feel like I got a good value. And I put this through a lot of use. You can see it's pretty banged up. It got a lot of use. I got a good solid 5 years out of it, and I felt like that was more than worth the money. The reason I didn't rebuy this drill is because when I bought this drill, I didn't have much money. You know, I just bought my home, had to do some home projects. I didn't have a lot of expendable cash, so I was really looking for value. And the reason I bought this when I needed a new drill is like, hey, I have enough money now to where it makes enough sense for me to where I'd rather buy a drill every 15 years versus every 5 years. And you know, I'm into tools and whatnot, so it's like cool for me to like, oh man, I've always wanted a really nice Dewalt drill and I can finally treat myself to that. But I get enjoyment out of doing home projects and using tools, and I'm gonna use this a lot more than just like 2 or 3 times a year. And I do some pretty big, heavy, labor-intensive projects where I just am excited to use this. All right, guys, so I hope that helped answer your question. I don't think this is a piece of junk. I do think it's a really good value. And if you're just looking for a light drill for residential use, definitely buy it, have no fear. I fully would support it and back it and think it's a great value. Thanks for watching, see you next time.